Hi everyone, good evening. So earlier today, I went to the Department of Trade and Industry to inquire on how to register for a new business name. So they told me that you can do it online. So now I am showing you on how to do it. Firstly, you have to log in to www.bnrs.dti.gov.ph. Oh, sorry, you just search for bnrs.dti.gov.ph. So this is the address. So when you enter it, it will actually show you to this page, and then it will show you the payment options and the amount of the registration fee depending on the territorial scope of your business. So if you only wanted to expand your business on a barangay level, so you have to pay 200 pesos for that. And if the reach of your business is a municipality or citywide, you have to pay 500. And if it's regional, then it's 1,000. And if it's national, then you have to pay 2,000 pesos plus 30 pesos for the documentary stamp tax. So the payment options would be GCash, PayMaya, or LinkBiz portal. So let's go to the registration proper. So once you are inside the page, you have to click register now. And then, so if you have ample time, you can actually read on the terms and conditions here. So just be careful that your business name is actually within the bounds of our law. So it states here that um, it shall not connote any activities or norms that are unlawful, immoral, scandalous, or contrary to propriety, not a name of a word or group of words or expression used to designate or distinguish or suggest equality of any class of good or articles. Like if you're gonna say like best taho or best shomai in the world. So I'm not quite sure if it's allowable or not. So not a trade name, meaning to say it's not registered yet. It does not have a similar uh, name that has already been registered, not inimical to the security of the state. And here are some of the examples. I guess later on they will show you some examples of business names that are not allowable. So once you have read the terms and conditions, you just have to click I agree to go to the next page. And then here, you're going to click are you a stateless person? You have to choose no, refugee, no, citizenship. What's your citizenship? So probably you're a Filipino because you're actually applying for a business name here in the Philippines. And then your first name, just put a dummy one. And then after you have indicated your information, you can click next. And then before the confirmation proper or before you can proceed, they will ask you to review your details. And if it's correct, then you can go to proceed. And then this is the one that I talked about earlier regarding your business scope. So your payment would depend on the territorial scope. If it's on a national level, then you have to pay a higher amount, like 2,000 pesos. And if it's on a regional level, then it's 1,000. And if it's within a municipality or city, then you have to pay 500. And if it's only within the barangay level, then you have to pay 200 pesos for that. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are limitations in the proposed business names. So here you can actually see some samples of those names that you will not be allowed to use. So you can actually read all of them from number 1 to 8. And then after you have read right, then you can go to next. So you have to select first. Say for instance, if it's on a barangay level, then you have to tick barangay. And then you have to indicate which region you belong. Say for instance, you belong in the Northern Mindanao. And then municipality. So the dominant name would be the business name that you wanted to have. So say for instance, Good Shape. So if you want to have a coffee business, then you can search for the division here. Like, are you having an agricultural or mining or manufacturing business, or water supply, wholesale, transportation, accommodation, information and communication. So I think if you're having a cafe business, right, and then or like a coffee shop, then I think it belongs to where others. So probably I can go to accommodation and food service activities. Then you can actually select like if it's a restaurant, event catering, or beverage serving activities, other food service activities. And then subclass, then you just have to select accordingly, according to your business classification. Food contract, food services. And then you have to click on choose descriptor, and so this is actually their proposed name. They have generated it. You have to check on the name availability if it already has a similar registered name. If it has, then you will have to choose another name. So let's check on that. So you can either choose to have your dominant name first and then the business name descriptor thereafter, or you can actually have it reversed like this. So I think the first one sounds good, right? Sounds better. So this one, validate your business name. So result not yet processed. Please click the check name availability button. So we have to click this again. And then validate business name. I think it needs time to check on if your proposed business name already has a similar name that has been registered or not. So yes, so like for this instance, right, the business name have a descriptor in dominant name field. So you have to make sure that the status here are all passed. Otherwise, you cannot proceed to the next page or make the payment, right? So you have to make changes on the descriptor. So I think this one I could change to Good Shepherd Cafe. Good Shepherd Cafe Food Services. Coffee shop. So I just write in the words and then I have to click enter, and then it goes like this. And then you have, so it has already changed, right? Earlier it was I think food services, Good Shepherd Cafe Food Services, and then now since I have changed the business name descriptor to coffee shop, so they have changed it to Good Shepherd Cafe Coffee Shop. And then let's check on the availability again and then validate. So if you have a message like this, so you have to check on the name availability again. Normally it would really take time. So the business name have a descriptor in dominant name field. So probably I can remove cafe here. Let's give it a try. Then check on the availability again. Probably because cafe and coffee sound similar, so that's the reason why it says that the business name has the business name descriptor. So now it's all passed, right? So if, say for instance, you wanted to change to another name, then you can just like click this button here. Otherwise, if you're okay with your proposed business name, then you can proceed. So again, you have to make sure that the details are correct. So the business name, so your business, your DTI business name or trade name would be this one. And so on top of the barangay level territorial scope that you have to pay, which is 200 pesos, then you have to pay an additional of 30 pesos for documentary stamp. Do you want to proceed? Yes. So they will give you a reference code. So this one, right, you can actually go back to the business name services if you wanted to check on the status of your application. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it goes. Or if you wanted to make some changes, so I think you can go back. You can go to business name, you click here, right, and then you go to inquiry and then key in this reference code, and then your application would come out. So here you have to go to continue. Just make sure that all your details are correct. So this is just a, so you have to indicate your address, business address here, and your personal information. You have to complete this as well.
Check out the Mama Support playlist. All these Christmas hits and more are waiting for you on the Mama Support playlist. Listen right now on Spotify.
So I think, yeah, and then, so if your business address is the same as your residence address, for easier purpose, right, then you can just like tick here. So it would automatically copy your business details to your residence address. So if you wanted to add on other details like your assets, number of employees, then you can just complete these details here. After that, you have an option if you wanted to resume later or if you wanted to proceed with the payment. So right now, I'll just show you on how to proceed with the payment, right? So this one, right? I cannot actually like really go to proceed right now. So this would be your reference code. So after you have checked your details and confirmed it, then you can actually go back. So you have to go to next, right? So this is actually the page that we went on earlier. So if you have really confirmed, you have no problem with your name, your details, right, then you can go ahead. You just have to click on next, and then you can just click confirm and proceed. After that, after you have clicked on the confirm and proceed, you cannot make any changes. So you have to be very careful that with your details. Um, Otherwise, you will have to cancel your registration, and then you can always go back to verify at this point whether you wanted to make some changes or to edit your details. If you are so sure about it, then you can confirm and proceed. And then, of course, you have to. So, this is the consent right now. So, you agree to the personal information, blah, 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 blah. So, I cannot really proceed right now. Otherwise, I will actually uh, be registering a dummy account, right? So once you have proceeded, it will actually prompt you to make the payment. So you have to select which payment you wanted to make, if you're going to go for GCash, PayMaya, or I think there's another one. I actually forgot about it. So yeah, I hope you learned something about the new registration. And if, say, for instance, you have some problem, right, with your new registration, you can go to the business name services and you can go for transaction inquiry. Then you can go to the agree again and then key in your reference code. Yeah, so it's pending and unpaid because I have not made the payment yet. So if, say, for instance, that you need to cancel your application because you have keyed in the wrong business name, or you have a what do you call this, a conflict with your business partners on what name you should indicate, or you made a mistake on the details, you just have to click on your business name, and then you can actually select if you wanted to resume, if you have edited it, or you can cancel the transaction. So for this one, right, I have to cancel it. So yep, I hope you learned how to register your new business at the dti.gov.ph. It's actually faster right now because you can do it online without really going to the counter. And so once you have made the payment, they said that they will send you an email regarding your DTI registration, and then from there you can just print it and then you can proceed to the BIR. So please be reminded that after you have done your registration with the uh, Department of Trade and Industry, you have to make your registration with the Bureau of Internal Revenue within a month's time, if I'm not mistaken. So, yep, I hope you learned something and thank you for taking your time. Bye bye.